If you were born roughly between 1977 and 1985, you might be what people call a Xennial. Not quite one thing, not quite the other. And that in-between feeling, it's not random. It's a psychological. Let's break it down. There's something important about your timing. The part of your brain responsible for planning, long-term thinking, and impulse control keeps developing into your mid-20s. That means when the internet exploded, when cell phones became normal, your brain was still highly adaptable. You weren't a fully formed adult resisting change, but you also weren't a toddler who thought Wi-Fi was air. You were in the middle, flexible enough to learn fast, old enough to remember life before it. That creates a rare mental wiring. Let's be honest. You remember rewinding VHS tapes, calling someone's house and talking to their parents first, printing MapQuest directions, being unreachable, actually unreachable. If someone couldn't find you, they just couldn't. But at the same time, you adapted to email. You learned Facebook when it first came out. You figured out smartphones. You learned new software for work. But you also don't panic when a new app updates. That's psychological bilingualism. You speak analog, and you speak digital. Very few generations fully do both. This is huge. When you were young, embarrassing moments usually disappeared. Bad haircut, cringy middle school phase, there's probably no permanent online record. It lives in memory, and memory changes. Our brains don't store events like perfect videos. Every time we remember something, we slightly edit it. We soften it. That's normal. But younger generations grew up documented. Photos, posts, everything searchable. You grew up in the last era where your past could fade naturally. That changes how you see your own story. You're not frozen in your worst moments. That matters more than we realize. Think about your childhood. Your parents probably didn't track your location. There were no constant texts, no share location. You left the house. You came back before dark. That was normal. You got bored, and you had to deal with it. No endless scrolling. No streaming, no instant entertainment. Boredom builds creativity. It builds problem solving. It builds emotional tolerance. You learn to sit with discomfort. That's a psychological muscle. Many younger people never had to build it the same way. Now let's talk about something heavier. Many Xennials entered adulthood around the 2008 financial crisis. Right when you were trying to start careers, move out, create stability, the economy collapsed, jobs disappeared, layoffs spread, housing markets crashed. Early adulthood is when people form beliefs about money and security. If instability hits during that stage, it sticks, even if you recovered later. A quiet thought can remain. Nothing is guaranteed. You might save more, avoid risk, feel cautious about big decisions, or push yourself harder because you're afraid of falling behind again. That's not weakness. That's your nervous system remembering instability. Technology changed fast. The economy changed fast. Work changed fast. You didn't have a choice. You adapted. You learned new tools, new systems, and here's the key. You adapted without fully losing your old mindset. You still value face-to-face conversation. You still understand the power of being present. You also know how to operate in a digital world. That balance is rare. This might be the defining trait. You remember a slower world, but you also appreciate convenience. Online banking? Useful. GPS? Amazing. But you also remember waiting, anticipation, patience. You remember when boredom forced imagination. You remember when people weren't constantly comparing themselves online. You can see what we gained, and you can see what we lost. Most generations only see one side. Here's the emotional core. Xennials often feel slightly out of place. Gen X might see you as too digital. Millennials might see you as too old school. You relate to both, but fully fit with neither. That can feel isolating, but psychologically, it gives you perspective. You've lived through a major transition in human behavior. Before everything was recorded, before economic collapse, after economic collapse. You understand change because you experienced it during formative years. Why this matters today. The world is still changing. AI, remote work, new economic shifts. For some people, this feels overwhelming. For Xennials, it feels familiar. You've done this before. You've already survived one massive transformation. Your brain learned the environment can change, and I'll adjust. That doesn't mean you're fearless. It means you're adaptable. And adaptability is one of the most important psychological strengths in unstable times. The Xennial experience isn't about being superior. It's about timing. You learned independence without digital dependency, caution without complete fear. You know systems can fail, but you also know you can rebuild. You know technology connects us, but you also know it can distract us. You don't live fully in the past. You don't live fully online. You stand in between. And sometimes, the people standing in between see the clearest. If you're a Xennial, and this felt accurate, you're not confused. You're transitional, and transitional generations carry unique psychological insight. You understand adaptation without identity loss. You know how to move forward without forgetting where you came from. And in a world that keeps changing faster every year, that might be your quiet superpower. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Simple Mind Psychology for more easy, clear breakdowns of human behavior. And I'll see you in the next one.